Hey, look at that. I got the stream going. I was going to do it to members, but I'm not sure how many of them are actually on right now. So I decided to go public with the live stream. But I'm also streaming over on Facebook. So if you haven't followed me there, hop on over to Facebook and smash the like button over there. And if you're on Facebook and you want to head on over to YouTube, head on over to YouTube and follow us over there. And I am still working on how to... I got to start the video here. On Facebook. Facebook makes me click the button to go live, whereas YouTube just automatically goes live. But we're going to get started here in a few minutes. I just want to get some more people on. At some point I'll get a camera in here. I don't have one right now. But right now we're just going to be doing the screen sharing thing. Okay, well, look at that. Hope everybody is doing well. Feel free to leave a comment and ask questions. We're going to wait. Finally got the Facebook stream going. Also live streaming on YouTube. If you want to follow us over there. But hopefully everyone is having a good evening. It's been a while since I did a Facebook live stream. I think I'm going to have to do this more often. For sure. We'll start off doing live streams with that are public every now and then we'll also do some live streams for anybody who becomes a subscriber over on the Facebook, also for members over on the YouTube. But hopefully you guys are doing well. Leave me a comment and let me know you're here. That way I know who I'm talking to. Appreciate you guys. Been making a lot more posts lately on Facebook too. I've decided I wanted to get the Facebook page kind of active again. If you are unable to comment, you'll have to click the like button on Facebook. That will allow you to comment. But anyways, I am going to go ahead and start talking about the weather. The summer, oh my god, the summer has been absolutely atrocious. It's just been super hot here in northwest Texas and in southern Oklahoma. There's not been a whole lot going on weather-wise, unless you go real far north up into the Dakotas and Nebraska and the Midwest. That's all out of my range, but now we are getting back into the fall season, and well, we've got some severe risk coming up. So I made a post about it I think earlier today, but here we have a slight risk in southeast New Mexico and the Texas South Plains down here. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that, but I'm waiting for a few more people to hop on here. We've got a couple people on YouTube and a couple people on Facebook. If you haven't liked or subscribed on either Facebook or YouTube, feel free to go ahead and do that now. And of course, now on Facebook, we have the ability for you guys to subscribe and become subscribers, or what we would call members on YouTube. So let's go ahead and let's see. I'm waiting for some people to comment so that we can. Hey, look, it's Ray. Hey, Ray. Now that I see that you're there, we're also doing this live stream on Facebook. There's a few things I want to talk about in terms of the live stream for tomorrow, whether there's going to be one or not. Because I don't really have. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but I'm going to be renting a car to do the chase tomorrow. So I'm not going to have all of my stuff that I normally would have to be able to make a live stream happen. I might be able to do it here and there for a quick live stream, but it won't be the real long live stream that I usually do. And I probably will only be able to do it to either Facebook or YouTube at a single moment in time. So that's something that I will have to figure out how we're going to do that. I do plan on trying to film some of it and posting a video to both YouTube and Facebook after the fact. But we'll just have to play it by ear and see how that goes. Hey, it's Piano Man. Appreciate you hopping on. It's been a while. Still using your logo you created for me here on YouTube. Really appreciate that. I'm still using it. I think it looks really cool. And I haven't used it over on Facebook yet, but definitely I'm just going to stick with it here on YouTube. And we'll see how that goes. I've got a few more people hopping on here on YouTube, and only a couple. We've got a couple people on Facebook as well. But let's go ahead and sure. I definitely understand that. It's I don't know. I just really like it. I like the way that the thunderstorm cloud pops out. I like the colors and everything in the background. The whole thing just really, I just really like it. So anyway, let's talk about the weather setup. Let me see how many we got on Facebook. I'm trying to pop between tabs over here between Facebook and YouTube to see if anybody's talking to me on Facebook. Let me see if I can fix this. Because I want to be able to see both at the same time. I wish that I could use. Oh man, I can't think. There we go. Now I should be able to see both. I wish I could use. Oh man, what's the? Why can't I think? It's been a long summer, but as far as. What is the service called? It's not StreamYard. I don't know. It's a platform that you have to pay for. It's like $20 a month, and you can stream to multiple platforms at once with just one stream going to it. It works okay, but it allows you to see the comments all in one place, and it allows you to stream to multiple platforms and using only half the data. So that's something I'd eventually like to use again, but I don't want to start doing that until actually able to pay for that. So anyway, let's talk about the weather. I keep getting distracted. I think I have ADHD. But anyway, so here we have the SPC outlook for tomorrow. Of course, day one comes out at 1 o'clock this morning or tomorrow morning. But we have a slight risk. I'm going to zoom in here. Oh my gosh. We have slight risk here in southeastern New Mexico and the Texas plains, kind of inching up into the Texas panhandle. Excuse me. I had dinner and I've got the hiccups. But and then we have a marginal risk that surrounds that goes pretty much all of eastern New Mexico. We've got a marginal risk over Iowa and a marginal risk over the northeast, like western Pennsylvania and stuff. But I'm not really going to pay too much attention to those. Not Stream Elements. Streamlabs is a application on the computer. I actually am not using Streamlabs to do this live stream because you have to pay to do multi-streaming on Streamlabs, and I'm not paying to do that. I'm using what's called vMix to do this live stream. It's what I used to use last year for doing a lot of live streams that when we were in the car. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about. I can't see how many people are on, but let's go ahead and keep going. So we got a slight risk here, and we'll start off with the tornado risk. Of course, we have a 2%, which has caught my eye. That's it goes all the way almost up to, I think, Amarillo. Let's look at the cities. Yeah, it goes all the way up to Amarillo, kind of right there near Lubbock, and then kind of goes over Roswell and Clovis and other parts of eastern New Mexico, southeastern New Mexico there. And then we have, of course, a wind risk, which is what's driving this light, and we also have a hail risk. So it'll be an interesting day tomorrow. It'll be quite the long trip if I manage to make it out there. But let's go ahead and talk about the actual weather. Let me see what we've got a couple of different models that I've pulled up here. This is at 22Z, which can't remember what time that is, to be honest. What is that? 22, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? I can't remember. Anyway, sometime in the mid-afternoon. The RRFS is usually pretty bullish with supercells, so it's got supercells kind of all over the place here, mostly in central eastern New Mexico. Roswell is definitely a good place for that. And then you can see that they start to cluster up a little bit here, and you have this one down here kind of close to Hobbs, but not really, maybe Pecos. And then you've got all of these over here. But let's kind of take a look at the HRRR, and then we'll go into the NAM 3 kilometer. You notice it's a lot different in the HRRR. There's still some cells kind of all over the place, but it's a lot more messy. And then of course the NAM 3K is got this cell way back here and kind of messy. I don't really like the NAM 3K for these kinds of setups, but RRFS is kind of like the most bullish, HRRR's next, and then NAM 3K. So I kind of took a mix of all of those, and I think I'm probably would go right in this general area right here. But let's go ahead and talk about the background environment. Let me switch over here to the 500 millibar. So this trough, which we're zoomed in right now, so let's zoom out. So we get this bowling ball-like trough that's going to be responsible for the weather, the severe weather that's going to be happening tomorrow, and then probably into the next day as well, moving further east. But this, you can see all. I don't have my pen that lets me draw, but you can see all this really dark and bright pink over here with all these higher winds, 60 knots in the upper levels. And then you see these little kinks. If we zoom into this, boom, boom, boom. All right, so you see these little kinks in here where the lines kind of dip. These dips in the 500 millibar flow are going to be where I would look for storms to develop. Of course, this is just one model, so you never know what's actually going to occur, but you kind of get an idea of what may happen. So these dips in the 500 millibar flow is what I'm looking at there. And then, of course, we have the 850, the low-level jet. This is the low-level jet here, and there's not much of it at 22Z. So let's go forward in time, and let's see if it gets stronger here. And it kind of does down here in the Midland, Odessa, down into the Big Bend area. But not really in our area, not really our target area. So that's not really going to be our driving factor here for storms. Let me back up to 22Z here. So if we come back and let's go ahead and look at the surface dew points, and we get some really unseasonably rich mid-60s, even 70s dew points here, where some moisture pooling is occurring probably. In these mountainous areas, this rich moisture is what's going to be giving us our fuel for the storms. And then if we go and look at some of the other parameters here, let's go look at our instability. Let's look at 3 Cape first. Now there's not a lot right here, but you can see there's some 3 Cape here, and then there's this corridor of 3 Cape here. Now 3 Cape is instability in the lowest 3 kilometers. So from 0 kilometers at the surface up to 3 kilometers. And this is what really will start to get storms to take any wind shear that is there, and it will allow it to stretch that horizontal vorticity and stretch it vertically to help you potentially get tornadoes. That is if there's any wind shear there. So let's go ahead and take a look at our 0 to 6 kilometer bulk shear, and we've got quite a bit of it across the region here according to the HRRR. Let's go ahead and look at our actual SRH, and you got little pockets of it. Whenever there's little pockets like this, I tend to take these with a grain of salt, and just kind of, you have to have a storm right here, you have to have a storm right here, you have to have a storm right here, or whatever, in order for any of these to occur. So when it's like this, I kind of take it with a grain of salt, and I just kind of cross my fingers. If you were to see all this filled in, then the risk would probably not be 2%, it would probably be higher. But that low-level jet, that 850 millibar flow, is not really there at all. So it's really going to limit our tornado potential tomorrow afternoon. Now let's go ahead and look at our 0 to 3 kilometer, and it's a lot higher. So the 0 to 3 kilometer out here in the high plains probably is a little bit better to look at. But regardless, there is potential there for tornadoes. Definitely hail. I think this is one of the big reasons why the hail risk is slight, or a 15%. And that's because you have this 0 to 3 kilometer SRH that's relatively strong. 332, 400 over here, and then you got some up here. So if we go look at our energy helicity index, which is our overlap, there's not a whole lot of overlap of instability and wind shear here, except once you get into the 23 0Z. So this whole area in southeast New Mexico, if we were going to get a 5%, I would say that this would probably be where it would end up. I don't know that we'll see that or not. Especially as you get closer, as the low-level jet begins to increase, you start to see those values go up. But then you also have to worry about stability occurring, like as soon as the atmosphere becoming more stable. So once the sun goes down, let's take a look at our 0 to 3 kilometer, and it's a little bit more strong here, obviously, since it's taken into account more of it. So if I was targeting, this would definitely be the area, probably further south. The problem down here is cell service is really bad in this area. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. Even in parts of rural New Mexico out here, it's still relatively bad. Although it's gotten better over the years. I remember there were times whenever there was no cell service. You couldn't even make a call out in some of these areas. So it's definitely improved. Let me see if I can get over to some of y'all's comments. Hey, it's Frosty. Hopefully you're enjoying the live stream here. I was going to do it as a members only for both Facebook and YouTube, but I have decided that since it's been a while, I would go ahead and make it public because I didn't want to sit here and talk to myself. But anyways, so this is kind of the setup for tomorrow. We're not expecting anything significant. And it's basically just going to be let's hope we get something. Will there be storms? Pretty good chance there's going to be storms. The question isn't whether we're going to have storms. The question is what kind of are we going to get any tornadoes? That's the question that I have. Is I've seen everything from 2 to 15% tornado risks where they just completely go bust. You never know what's going to happen with the weather. You never know if all of the different parameters and different things that are going on with the models are actually going to turn out to be true. This is all the 18Z, by the way. I haven't looked at 0Z yet because it's just now coming in. So let's go ahead and look at that on the HER. Let's go back to our reflectivity. I kind of do things backwards from everybody else. I like to look at see if the models are convecting anything. So if we go here, now this looks a lot different than the 18Z HER, because now it's got, and just for reference for everybody who's watching, you have the model runs hourly, but it is only able to ingest the data when it's available. The balloon data, buoy data, upper air data, data from aircraft that fly around and take measurements. So if you didn't know that, I don't even want to say most, a lot of commercial aircraft, and I think maybe military aircraft, but probably not, don't quote me on that one, but definitely commercial aircraft have sensors on board, and that data gets sent back to the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center, and they're able to, or really I think it's the National Climatic. Anyway, they get it, and it gets into these forecast models to kind of help generate them. So for the HER, you have, well, this is really true for all of them. You have 0Z, 18Z, so basically every 6 hours, 12Z, and then it goes 06Z. So these are the primary ones, and then every hour after the initialization of that, it changes the parameters just a tiny bit. And so each one after this is a different set of information. So if we were to look at 19Z versus 18Z, this is the computer. It's still the computer guessing at 18Z, but it's now guessing with not real time or not observed data. It's tweaked the observed data just a little bit to try to see, okay, if it was off just this much, then what would happen? And so it does that for each run up until the next one, whenever the new set of data comes in. So that's why a lot of us just kind of like to look at the ones that are 0, 18, 12, and 06Z, because the rest of these, I mean, you can still look at the rest of them, but I generally don't. I just kind of take a look at the observed data and see what gets produced. But anyway, now we're at 0Z. Oh my goodness, what did I click on? Okay, so we're at 0Z, and we're at hour number 18, which is also 18Z, ironically, because we're at 0Z, so all the numbers are going to go up evenly. So then we're going to go up to 19Z, and you can see that this is beginning to look real interesting by 20Z, 21Z. So the HER seems to begin to pick up on what the RRFS was picking up on earlier. Remember, if we look at the RRFS for 22Z, but this is the 18Z run, and this thing is not letting me click. This one runs every 3 hours, it looks like, but it's an experimental or prototype. But a lot of us like to use it just to see what might happen. You really, whenever you're doing forecasting of any kind, and I'm not a professional forecaster by any stretch of the imagination, but I like to take the night before I'm chasing, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this live stream, because I wanted to be able to show you guys my process, I suppose. So kind of the way that I approach it is look at each different one of the convection allowing models, the CAMs, which is what these are, and kind of see where the storm's at. Are there any storms at all? And I kind of make my decisions based on that. So these kind of have them up here, and then this, it also kind of has it here, but it doesn't have much up here, and it's got some more over here in the Texas Panhandle. So as we continue forward, it becomes a lot more messy. Still got some cells in there with some rotation or some helicity tracks, and then all the way down into the the Permian Basin. Basically, you've got kind of a line a funky looking line of storms here, and then they continue to push east, and they continue to push east, and then they begin to die off as the atmosphere stabilizes, and then it looks like they start up again, kind of early morning. And then they kind of start to die off again. So it looks like we might get some rain here on Sunday. That'll be nice. But anyway, let me go back to Saturday. I don't want to talk about Sunday too much. But that's kind of my process, and I kind of look at them and be like, okay, what's this one show? What's this one show? And there's other ones. You don't have to just look at the... Oh my gosh, that won't quit doing that. So there's also some NSSL ones that you can look at, the FV3. You can look at some of the other HRW WRF models. I'll look at them every now and then, but I don't really put a whole lot of weight into them. There's other tools that we can also use. Let me zoom out here, and I think I can get to them here. I just want to show you guys some of the other tools that we have. So this is on the SPC website. For those of you on YouTube, I'm gonna put this in here so you guys can mess around with it if you want. Let me do it also on Facebook for the 4 of you that are on Facebook. But let's go ahead and look at this. So up here you have the date, of course. You want the most recent date, unless you want to look at historical data. And then you want to pick the closest one to this. So I don't think the 0 UTC 20. So the next one's not out. This only runs twice a day. But this allows you to kind of see a little bit different. You can see this upper wave at 500 millibars. And it begins to the winds begin to kind of die off with time as that kind of ejects over the panhandle. But this is obviously kind of like now, and then 0Z, and then we get over here. This is 22Z, so this is what we were looking at. Oops. This is the time frame we were looking at on the HER and the other models. So you have all these winds, and they're kind of displaced back to the west from where the storms are supposedly going to occur. So that's also kind of a little bit of an issue for me. But let's see what other... Oh my gosh, this thing moves really easily. So let's see what other things we have. We have some other synoptic ones. We have 850 millibar mean wind. So let's look at that. And this is the ensemble mean. So it kind of gives you an average. And notice there's not much in the way of a low-level jet until really late, and it's kind of displaced from most of our storm activity. So I'm not really going to rely on that too much. There's some other stuff in here that you can also look at. You can look at mean, min-max, stamps, threshold probabilities. Let's go ahead and look at the mean most unstable CAPE real quick. And then you can see it kind of increases throughout the day, and then you can see all those brown. Let me zoom in here because we are not very close. All right, so now that we're zoomed in, now you can see right about 22Z. You see all these brown lines, and they've got the shading in between them. These are all helicity tracks. This is the 1 hour max, 2 to 5 kilometer updraft helicity ensemble max. So it has to be greater than 75 meters squared per second squared in order to show up. So this is pretty interesting to be able to kind of see where all of that is occurring in relation to your shear, your surface to 500 shear, which is what this is. So that's pretty cool to be able to see. And then, because you don't really get this combined information on the other ones. Let's go ahead and look at 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. And then you can see it's kind of decent in this particular version of the HREF here. and it gets a little stronger as that low-level jet. So that's not bad, actually. So that kind of lends some confidence to maybe this area for tornadoes as opposed to maybe down here. But let's go ahead and keep looking at other stuff. So let's look at the mean fixed layer significant tornado perimeter real quick. Not expecting a whole lot. And there's not. I mean, there's little blips here, but I'm not really concerned about those. This is one of my favorite tools. This is the reflectivity paintball. This allows you to see a whole bunch of different models and what these different models think is going to happen. So it's got the HRR, it's got the HRW NSSL, the ARW, some of the same ones that are actually on the Pivotal Weather website, except you kind of get them all in one spot, and you have all these different colors that represent them. So let's turn all of these off real quick. And if you guys have questions, please let me know. I do my best to help you guys out. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a pro at this, but I've been chasing for 10 years, so I've kind of figured out ways for myself in order to be able to figure out where I want to go and what the potential might be for where I'm going to end up. So this is the HRR, so that's in brown. Then if we add, let's go ahead and add the NAM nest. So it's not got nearly as much, but you can see there's some there. The 6-hour HRR, so it's got some stuff there. Let's look at the FV3. So you start to see where they begin to cluster, and you start adding them to, you begin to add each of these different ones, and it kind of gives you a rough idea of what the weather might look like come that particular time period. Of course, there's not going to be storms as numerous as this, but it gives you an idea of where they might be. And so kind of in this general vicinity, and if we open radar scope, which it's opened in my other window here, okay, cool. So if we open radar scope real quick, oh my goodness, and we look at that area, why is it taking forever to zoom in? I want to, there we go. My computer's being slow. All right, it shouldn't be, it's a good computer. All right, so it looks like the area basically from I-40 down to Roswell, down to Hobbs, over to Clovis. So if I were to pick an area, I'd like to pick a town that's got intersecting highways. So there's Clovis, which is pretty popular. Roswell's a little far, even though it's got plenty of east-west, even in a northeast route here on 70. I don't think I want to go all the way to Roswell. I might be too far west at that point, and it's a lot of extra driving. So Fort Sumner is probably also too far west. These areas along I-40 are going to be too far west. Initially, I was thinking Tucumcari, but that seems like it might be a little too far north for an initial target. So I'm not really going to say the target that I end up picking. That I'm going to leave for subscribers and members on YouTube and Facebook. But it's going to be kind of in this general vicinity. Somewhere in this area. Where I end up, like I said, is really kind of a last second decision, and I'll let the members and subscribers know in the morning once I start driving. So that's that. Anybody got any questions? Frosty, y'all still hanging out, it looks like, and we've got a couple people over on Facebook. I don't see anybody chatting over on Facebook, but hopefully whoever's watching over there on Facebook is enjoying the stream. This normally would be a stream I would do just to members, just to subscribers over on Facebook, but I don't have any subscribers on Facebook yet, so I wanted to kind of make this public and see if I could get some more people to watch tonight. But yeah, let's we can talk about whatever you guys want now. I've got all night basically. Um, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing and watching us over the years. Um, since I've kind of done talking about the weather, unless you guys want to have questions, I'm going to talk a little bit about my situation with the car. So the front end of the car needs work, and I can still drive it around town, but driving it on these long trips, not something I want to take a risk on. So I'm, like I said, in the earlier part of this live stream, I'm probably going to, well, I've already reserved a rental. So I'm going to rent a car, which means I'm not going to have my good antenna and my good internet source for doing a live stream. So if I do a live stream, it's going to be probably it was going to be from my phone anyway, because I sold some of my cameras. Because the one that I used to use fell and broke, and it just wasn't working correctly, so I sold it for parts. Because it wasn't worth fixing. Or, I mean, it probably would have been, but I'm going to be probably filming it with my GoPro and then posting the video later. I'll try to do some live streams to both Facebook and YouTube if I'm getting into the business and there's something interesting, but I don't want to bore you guys with a live stream. I may do it on YouTube. I just have to see how I feel in the morning. I'm not sure how the cell signal's gonna treat us tomorrow. So, but as far as the car goes, it's not in a good shape. I love my Explorer, but it has got some issues. Some of them are from chasing, and some of them are just because Ford. But if you guys heard it, you'd be like, "Don't drive that." And so I'm not going to be driving it on long trips. I'm just going to be driving it around town as needed until I have the money to fix it, which is a really big expense. It's going to be probably $2,500 to $3,000 to fix, which is why it's not fixed yet. But in any case, I will enjoy having the rental and not having to deal with that funky steering. And hopefully everybody enjoys our content tomorrow, whatever that happens to end up being. But yeah, if you're on Facebook and you want to subscribe, then please feel free to do that. And if you haven't liked or followed already, let me go ahead and smash the like button. And then on YouTube, I mean, if you haven't subscribed, what's taking so long? No, just kidding. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like. I'm saying a lot. Anyways, I don't know what else to talk about. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm going to turn this stream off and enjoy the rest of my night. But I would definitely enjoy any questions you guys have, if you have any. Or if you just want to talk about random stuff. At some point, I'm going to get a camera. I've made myself an office in my house. So now I can actually put a camera in here. But I just don't have one. Oh yeah, it'll definitely be good to see a chase again. But like I said, I'm probably only going to stream small portions of it. I'm going to try to film as much as I can. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, to be honest. Because it's difficult to film and drive. So we'll see how it goes. I have some ideas in mind to how I want to do it. And then once I've got it all put together, I'll post it. Yeah, let's pull up let's go to the COD, because COD has all the wind on here. Let's look at Dew Point real quick, because you can't see the wind. Okay, never mind. Well, as soon as I can find simulated reflectivity, that'd be cool. Okay, go ahead. What's your question? You got all these different wind barbs here, and you can see them moving around. I have not seen all the heavy rain in Europe. I did not realize that that was happening, but that is interesting. Is there flooding going on? That is pretty curious to me. It'd be cool to chase in Europe one day. Are you talking about their Piano Man? Are you talking about the I think I know what you're talking about. Let me come over here. Are you talking about these right here where my cursor is going? Okay, so the flag, so if you look at these, okay, right. So this is it took me a minute to learn this, but it's really simple. So whichever way, okay, see, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. I wish I had the pen. Hold on, let me see if I have Epic Pen still installed. This will be a lot easier if I do this with Epic Pen. Give me a second. Because then you guys will know where I'm actually trying to guide your eyes. Alright, cool. Got my Epic Pen tool here. Let me get the pencil out. Okay, so this is the wind barb. And the wind is going in this particular... My drawing is probably not precise here, but the wind's going that way. Right? Here, on this one, the wind is going this way. So whichever side these little barbs are on is the direction the wind is coming from. And whichever end is the pointy stick part, that's where the wind is going to. Clear that. Oh my goodness, well that's crazy. I did not realize that was happening out there. The other thing too, yeah, it's kind of like a wind vane. The other thing to note are these. So here you have a triangle. That's 50 miles per hour, right? Here you have a long line. The long line is 10 miles per hour. And then here you have a short line. That short line is 5 miles per hour. So it goes in 5, 10, and 50 mile per hour increments. So yeah, that's how you read the wind barbs. Let me get my cursor back so I can zoom back out. Oh my gosh, I zoomed too much. There we are, back to 100%. So, got any other questions? I am happy to answer whatever you guys have, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. I am watching both comment sections. Let's see what's going on in Europe. Let's see. Well, there's articles talking about climate change and stuff. I can't find anything that just gives me facts. I don't care about the rest of it. Here's a BBC article. Is this for today? Italy next to see heavy rainfall. Severe flooding caused by Storm Boris has resulted in at least 21 people losing their lives. And a natural disaster in Poland. I wonder if this is current. Yeah, 17 September 2024. Yeah, no, that's not accurate there, Piano Man. Flag is... it's the other way around. But That is wild. That's a lot of rain. Well, I appreciate you guys. Got anything else for me? Well, I guess unless you guys got something else, I am going to hop off of here. It is 9 o'clock Central Daylight Time, and my bedtime is coming up in like an hour and a half. So I want to get some more snacks, maybe watch something on TV, and I'm going to try and relax before tomorrow. And then 3 a.m. Oh my God. Yeah, that's you're up late, man. You definitely got to get some sleep. But I will talk to you guys later, and I think the next time I'll try to do this live stream a little earlier for you guys. Piano Man, I know you're out there in Kentucky, and Frosty, you're out there in Europe, so I'll try to do it a little earlier. But I didn't even think about it until like 7:45. So I'm trying to be more diligent about making these live streams, especially for members there on YouTube and subscribers on Facebook. But it's just been so boring with the weather that I've just not had much to talk about, and a lot of personal stuff going on. So I've just not been really able to do much live streaming, but I'm going to try and get back into it here in the second season, and hopefully we can continue going. And if you guys aren't following me on Facebook, those of you on YouTube, I'm going to be posting more over there on Facebook, and that way if Facebook's your thing, then you should see more stuff over there. But I am going to end this live stream, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. Don't forget, I'm going to try to do some stuff tomorrow. I will be making posts about it either on Facebook or maybe the YouTube community tab. By the way, for those of you on YouTube that don't pay attention to YouTube news, YouTube is trying to implement at some point, probably next year, early next year maybe, I hope, crossing my fingers, the ability to interact with the community more like Facebook, but not entirely like Facebook. So it'll be a little bit different than the way that it is now. So I'm hoping that they implement that, because that would be really great for YouTube. But that's something that's coming down the line. I heard from some YouTube news people over the last couple days. So that'll be pretty nifty. But I am going to go ahead and stop this. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I don't do it. But I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all hopefully tomorrow.